Welcome to our lovely future humans and our 5D collective. To those who are new, we are emotionally intelligent, embodied self leaders, and so we move from strength, courage to curiosity with our mindset practices and our journal prompts. And that's where, if you do enjoy them, PayHip has bundles and singular practices. And update for my lovely regulars, we're going to have playlists for the single products so that I can accompany you and read to you what you'll find, explain, give you examples. And with this topic, so 3 keys to resilience, we did discuss this on our live yesterday, how to build resilience, but I'm going to share in case you didn't tune in. And it starts with a steady self-image, which means you also have self-regulation skills, and that means you know how to use your prefrontal, and an integrated brain has the sexy attribute of growing more intelligent, anchoring the ventral energy. That's why. And so you grow more curious, and that's your window of tolerance moving to a window welcome. And as you deepen the exploration of not only inner authority but your mastery, your flow state, you're going to consistently be enriched by those who are epistemically diligent, disciplined, and curious, enriched by our emotionally intelligent collective, and understand those who don't have the capacity to become adaptable, to bounce back, to be proactive in their approach, and to gain mental, emotional, physical health is not because they are of a bad group in the sense of some demon or some monster or someone having trained us. Okay, so the aspect of self-agency is very important for me to share, because for me it's been since I was a 3-year-old. I'm a 1-year-old. All my child parts are here, so you can't push me around in a way that I've seen unsteady self people be pushed around. And when I spot them as they pretend, because they think that now they're badass, and they give a very superficial explanation to, for example, resilience or to attractiveness, I remind myself that groupies tend to follow epistemically lazy people around, fear-based leaders, because they want to be like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys and Wendy, meaning they don't like learning new things, and then they don't stay grounded in reality. So their cherishable beliefs, they think that they're facts, but also they find their very strong emotions. I found it hard to believe that a world is in crisis and chaos because of dysregulation. No, there has to be some bigger reason why we find ourselves with all, like, just look at the ancient ancestors. They were actually already using their survival mode, and we're learning how to stop using their survival mode. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. And we just recently got the information of the nervous system everywhere out there online. There's a bunch of people who don't even know how to be secure yet, and they're talking about secure attachment. They even talk about it as boring. What's boring is dealing with emotionally unavailable people. That's what's boring. So you build resilience by getting connected, build strong positive relationships with loved ones and friends to provide support. But remember, you need to be able to have the functional adult minimum. That's for relational therapy, lovely Terry Real. I'm a functional child adult, so to me, you can do all the things you want. I'll just tell you how it is. So that just means my 3D, 4D brothers and sisters don't know who they are. Make connections, prioritize relationships to help manage stress. Sometimes you don't have relationships. You want to be able to also manage your own stuff. So like with panic attacks, even if you have people around, I'll use a story for you. One of my lovely connections, I'll never forget, as my girlfriend hugs me as I'm having a panic attack, and she's trying to support me. And as she's hugging me, I really just want to run away, so I'm visualizing running away, because that's where Peter Levine came into my mind. He's like, that's your body wanting to do it. So like, just visualize running away. But really, I'm like, I just want to go right now, and I can't. Oh, and so anyways, my point is your body is what matters, first of all. So you being able to create resilience comes from your own hands and your own feet. And this is a posture, the armpit thing for your ventral vagal state. If some of you know the tapping, here's where I know mindful therapists are great for people who still need to take ownership of bilateral. And once you take ownership, so you move from strong to courageous, now it's time for curiosity. If you instead do, I want to do it, I want to live now, you're not going to move into the best. This is the best of your life. Okay, so that's the sad part, is that it's not about evil and some monster or some manipulative forces, or you're being trained by society, all these things. It's okay, you don't know how to use your nervous system yet. If you please, just get on board with the sensory motor somatics and become first yourself, then somatic mastery. Welcome aboard. I give one-to-one mentorship for those who have goals that they want to achieve. The mindset practices are for those who are enjoying themselves, and journal prompts. Check out Spotify, podcasts, and Substack, because that's another place we're going to be. And remember, pay hip and tell your other friends, because there's a bounty full of people. I'm sure they're like, I don't want to go on social media, I'll be fine. There's not only those people, there's people like me on social media. And social media didn't make the world worse. No, now we know where everyone is, and that's why it's amazing. So I have all of it on my algorithm. I'm like looking at 3D, 4D, and then I'm like, okay, here's 5D, and I'm like, oh, this is doing amazing. So thanks, Sadhguru. Body and mind are miraculous. They're not instruments, though, Sadhguru. They're just miraculous. But to make them soar, yes, to achieve blissfulness, you must learn to hold them right. Yes, well, you don't have to, but if you do learn to hold them right, it's called, I almost reacted, and then I'm a self-leader. I don't wait for clarity, I make it. Okay, it's okay. We get anxious all the time. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. I have so many things I could tell you about my 0-1-year-old. Okay, so practice self-care. Attend to your own needs and feelings to keep your mind and body primed to deal with challenges. This is like a no-brainer, FYI. I had a conversation that I didn't want to have with someone who heard me say we need sleep. And they're like, no, it's all in your mind, Maria. And it's only age. And I'm like, no. I said, it's not about age. Meaning he said it's not about age. I said it's not about age, but it is about you needing sleep so your body can rest. And that's just because you're doing your health, like you're with lack of sleep, you're sending your body a message. Like when I wasn't eating the way I was supposed to until I got the lovely nutritionist diet, which again, if you're doing everything right, but you don't know self-regulation in ventral vagal state, the car, your motor, it's still overworking. That's as simple as it gets. And anyone who doesn't understand this as a truth is somebody who wants to be obtuse, which is fine by me. I have a hand on my heart because it's sad. They won't get to meet themselves. They won't get to meet what they're capable of. They won't ever become a true self-esteem human being. And thank you for all the smart human beings out there that talk about soft skills, but it don't mean a trophy, and it don't mean pushing someone into what they don't want. No. So when I hear of people who are trying to be the ones who make these kids do certain things, I'm like, I don't like any of you. But the point that I want to really address is that the capacity to grow resilient will be of the individual. And so if you push too much, doesn't change, they're just going to stop. There's a sweet spot. The third attunement, repairing ruptures, and then welcoming that which is the person's personality patterns, the temperament. And so self-leaders are also lovers, and love-based leaders understand it's not the trophy, it's not how hard you push or don't. Everyone has a unique story, and what you do is respect the one individual. And those who say averages are the ones who don't understand. We know of averages and what they're for. I'm not talking about the groupies. I'm talking about personal growth, spiritual growth. You want someone to have self-esteem and self-worth, you don't group them into the little group and make them into a generalization. That's completely unnecessary, but it's also not part of the journey, since they are their own lens. Subjective experience because they have their own self-organization, their own information processing, their own consciousness, their own brain. And every time you're talking, they might be talking over you. And so respecting another person's subjective opinion, thanks Terry Real, means I welcome you because I can make sense to myself all the time. And I know you can too. Difference is I'll be grounded in reality as a mystic and spiritual one. And for me, it was always easy. The downloads, channeling, because God's amazing. My basic foundation. If you want to learn about it, I'm the co-author of the book, The Ways to God, and God's Discerning and Quantumous Love. all people who want to talk about being spiritual, they will be able to be a channel. This is something that I know of. And those who want to keep us, no, those who keep us divided because they've decided to be stingy with words, a theologian went about their business making Reiki a bad energy. That's completely unnecessary, not to mention so close-minded. Those who will not be able to expand their mind, they follow around epistemically lazy, defensive egos who validate their story, and they say we're the good hero team and they're the bad, not good hero team, or and stuff like that. And they're playing to a crowd of people who don't know who they are, which is why I don't follow groupies around. I just spot them, and they're very boring, might I add. They're not sexy, intriguing. They can look as hot as you can be with their physique. I'm going to know that they lack steady self-image, nervous system sovereignty, and exact life force, because there is none. They haven't brought it forth. No, they're a stagnating piece now, which is actually unattractive completely. So when someone's stagnating within themselves, I've heard how it works, the dark sides of neuroplasticity, and it's not funny at all. But as I move back towards us, we find purpose, seek opportunities for self-discovery and personal growth. In fact, people don't actually have a problem with life's purpose. The struggle is with your own nervous system. And that's because your own meaning, your 0-1-year-old attached panicky through your 7, so your child parts, one, are part of you, but you also, like I, have human secondary consciousness. So you'll consistently ask chicken or egg. And when that is from a place of uncertainty, and that means fear, and that means insecurity, you're not badass. You're not curious about knowledge. Epistemically curious people are curious about all of piece of information. When you're an integrated brain, and therefore you are an identity that is human, we know what our spiritual stories were for, and they weren't just stories fictitious. We know how to respect our ancestors and what they meant and what they brought. Then we know how to be grounded in the present and understand how it all does come together, anima mundi. As for the evil demon stories, that's for 4D who continue to disregard the one thing that I have noticed: the pseudo-aliveness. No window of tolerance, no window of welcome, no integration. It's completely impaired. And they're not the healthiest version of themselves, but they will channel and they will download and they will get the same messages that I get, and then they will see the same choice points I also have seen. Difference is they're going down a doomsday clock by using the past continuously with the way they speak, and those of us who understand that they're speaking from something that they are suffering, it's sad story. But we find purpose between that which is being ourselves and supporting humanity as we move forward, and to maintain perspective. So viewing crises as manageable challenges rather than insurmountable problems. And our species has gone through that, which are plenty of that challenge. Some people think it will happen again. That past, I like to let you know, the past doesn't repeat itself, because children surpass their parents and so on and so forth. And I laugh because children who surpass their parents by appreciating the wisdom that was shared with them and appreciating the knowledge that was shared with them, not being upset too much about the mistakes, because we all make mistakes, so we know how to forgive like Jesus taught me, and to respect the elders like God and my good Christian Catholic catechist taught me, and stay open-hearted like the Holy Spirit taught me. The ones who don't want to forgive, I understand those spokespeople, but that's where they're at. So they will prefer keeping their effective realism, their strong emotional charges, and in their fight response, they will continue to perpetuate a very specific story and a very specific dynamic, because they are functioning from that body. And they are also functioning from their own stories, and also because frequency attracts frequency, and that's the push-pull thing. And so when you instead find that which is our 5D collective frequency attractive, the self-leaders, welcome aboard. You are not looking for chaos or rigidity. You're in fact most likely tired of it, as you spot the pathological aspects from every side of a corner, and that's the well-being is something accessible. So we make well-being accessible to each other, and then to the world. We're future humans, because the 3D 4D don't know we're here. I tease with that one. And as we conclude, journal prompts, mindset practices, they work for some, not for others. We talked about that. So resilience, good resilience, bad resilience. If someone's using mindset as a way to repeat and share with them that they're right and to stay with the charges, they're not using the practices to allow themselves to spot, okay, look, this is, and for habits, we also break habits like charges. You'll spot them coming up. And I gave you some examples yesterday again on the live. You can tune in how to build resilience for this one, the 3 keys to resilience. 1, yourself, steady self-image. 2, nervous system sovereignty, so self-regulation. 3, you anchor in that ventral vagal state when you are charged, and that means 4 and 5, you create good resilience, and every time it gets easier and easier. Doesn't mean you won't be irritated by anxiety, plenty of it, but you'll know how to make it work, and then you continue to be proactive, and that way we bring to the children and to our future that which our ancestors have consistently been building. And so anybody who has their faith broken with humanity, they are the ones who don't believe we can make it. I know we can make it, as I'm not the only emotionally intelligent body in town. And so here's where we're at. And so thanks for stopping by. Share with your lovely friends, those who enjoy and have fun with the resilience. And let's continue to populate the online world so kids can find different types, the grown-ups. I'm not kids material, but I'm saying those who are like mid-25 is still an adolescent brain. That's what I meant. They can find emotionally mature people, monoamory, polyamory. They can find those who are not jealous, who are not reactive, the ones who say, okay, look, we have a deal. I picked the man, not the bear, but yeah, we want to talk about a lot of things. I already in college met these people. They were fucking and miserable. I was like, don't do it, STDs. But to go to the other extreme, so moderation, that's the part we say, okay, we have this side and this side. Now let's look at this side. And that's the part of why we grow with the wisdom. So you diffuse conflict with clarity. No, diffuse conflict because you bring clarity. But then you remember epistemically curious people. Some aren't, they're lazy. And so we continue knowing that effectively communicating isn't the only thing. It's also remembering to sometimes be quiet, to listen, and then to remember that it is a journey to become yourself. And then it is also a journey to choose to consistently contribute to our future in a way of knowing you all will make mistakes. We can forgive flaws and imperfections and unconditionally love and know that the best outcome, it's not about being positive, by the way. It's just life. It's a complex system that self-organizes itself to its optimal potential. You don't train it. It actually knows how to do it. And unfortunately, impaired, integrated people don't know how to do it until they get the bilateral, vertical, overall integrated. So again, I digress. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.